Hey guys, how you doing? This is Isamu here, and I got Paul. What's up, Paul?
Not much, brother. What's going on today?
Well, today is Tuesday, the 19th, 2012. Hope all is well, and hope you guys are having a good uh, New Year's. And a lot of stuff are happening. A lot of weird stuff is happening, that's for sure. But we want to thank all you people out there who've been writing to us and subscribing to our YouTube. And especially we got a lot of hits on the sounds and overwhelming hits on that. And
Brother, didn't you get a few comments from a few people?
yeah, we had a lot of comments on the sound, um, the sounds. But yeah, a whole bunch of them. Did you want me to read some of the comments on that?
Why don't you read that to the people so that people have an idea what's going on?
Okay, well I got to dial up here now.
Well, while he's doing that, we just want to thank you guys for giving us your comments.
Yeah.
Hey, don't worry about it. If you have a certain comment from your heart, go ahead and express it. That's
Yes.
what it's all about. We talked yesterday about free speech, so hey, if you got something in your heart and we don't agree with it, that's well and fine. It's that you're just sharing your point of view.
That's right.
And we welcome that. So don't worry about it at all.
Yes, definitely. Okay, now that I put it up here, here's part of the comments here on the YouTube on that. Let's see here. One person just wrote about he believes that these weird sounds are from harp. And then another one person saying,
"Go on, brother. What is harp?"
Harp?
Yeah, what does that mean? You know what that means?
I think harp means just like when they say "Hark the Herald Angel Sing."
Also, the harp itself. I thought it was HAARP was a certain kind of.
Oh yeah. It's actually spelled HAARP, and I spelled it wrong before. HARRP, but
I thought you were trying to show us a certain kind of organization or something.
Oh yeah, no harp. I think it's some kind of organization, but it's something that the military is working on, which controls the weather and stuff. There's a lot.
Before I can correct people out there, please write us in and tell us what exactly that means.
Yeah, exactly. And then we got somebody here believes that these sounds came from the 1800s. Church is a man of concept. And then we have one person that says, let's see here, sounds like somebody stuck his head down. And I'm not going to read the rest of that part there.
You get the gist of that, what that means.
Yeah, but we're not going to say it. And then we've got somebody here that says that the bottomless pit that Jesus is opening. Well, that's interesting. And it truly believes that this is what then has no idea of symbols. And another person wrote basically these are revelation in Christ in person. And he said earth, dust, and the ground. And this is from Sign 6. And wow. Another one says, whoa, can I get over how Christian talks and how understanding is spiritual? And talking about the book of Revelation. And the list goes on. We have so many. It's incredible. And also somebody sent us some pictures of us regarding the skies too. I know I took one picture of that looks like hands and feathers and stuff like that. But someone had really interesting pictures that they took and they had, and we'll show that sometime on that. But what else you got, brother?
Well, I know we have some interesting thing regarding drought.
Yeah.
And, the weather is taking form these days,
right.
Especially over in Seattle.
Yeah.
We have something up on this clip. I know it should be kind of interesting because a lot is happening in the world today. The changing of the weather drastically since the melting of the caps over in Alaska and the changing of just the wind and the sun and the way it performs and it's pretty exciting and it's kind of eerie and it's kind of worrisome too all at the same time because there's a lot of things are going down, and it's in the last days. I mean, I'm not predicting tomorrow or next week or next year, but we are definitely in the last days, whatever that may be.
Yeah, yeah. Here's the article, but this is kind of an overall article. I know we had this one news, and you probably heard it from whatever from all the weather channels about Seattle and Washington having these major snow and stuff like that. And but it says that the Pacific Northwest has serious hail and snowstorms, and some up to 14 inches, and which is I don't know if you understand that, but I was just down there in November visiting a friend down in Washington, and they had a little bit of snow, but they didn't have some major snow. In fact, I talked to one of the residents there, and they said that they're kind of having a drought. That's kind of interesting. He said that was around right before Thanksgiving. He was telling me that they were having a drought, and they haven't had any snow at all. And I was up in Yosemite over the holidays of actually New Year's Eve, and they were having a major drought there. No snow, nothing. But now that I looked at the Seattle in Yosemite, they're having some major snow coming, I believe, this week. But Seattle's having massive that. But the danger part about that is this, I think, is that if we have these major snows and all the frost that's happening there, so they have snow. When that thing melts, it's going to turn to water. So there's going to be some major flooding. That's the scary part. I know it's kind of cool with snow and everything. My kids love snow, and we were kind of bummed that Yosemite didn't have any snow at the time when we went there. But that's the scary part. Are we prepared for that? And so there's other stuff that's happening. So all over the Northwest, they're having some weird patterns on that. And this article goes on. This is from Christ Boom, that it talks about in also in Tennessee and Indiana, Mississippi. They're having some weird, massive weather that's happening here, and a lot of tornadoes and stuff like that happening there. And is there anything you want to add, brother, on that?
No, I think you covered it.
Okay. Here's another article here that has to do with the weird weather patterns too. This is also in Christ Booms, but it says that lower temperatures enhance ozone on the Arctic. So they're having this shows strongly reduce of ozone values from the left to the dark, and I don't know if you understand what the ozone is. That's our protection, and so it's wearing out, and so we're having some weird, strange weather patterns. So lower temperatures enhance ozone graduation from above the Arctic. So I believe that has to do with the solar fire thing that's going on too as well. But that's something to look at too as well. What you got, my brother?
No, I'm just looking at the ozone layer. And we have such, it's been deteriorating since the 70s.
Yeah.
And now we're in the 2000s. I just wondered what the thickness of that ozone layer is now as compared to what it was in the 70s.
Wow.
I remember they used to tell us about, the way
Yeah.
if you put a bunch of suntan oil on you, make sure you have some kind of sunscreen
Right.
before you do it. And I remember people going out in the sun on the beach and just putting that straight oil that was
Right.
dark tanning oil
Yeah.
on their body, straight right from the bottle.
That's right.
I mean, you just get you lay in the sun for like 2 hours and you come out all red, and especially if you're drinking the night before or something, and you're just laying down in the sun and you're just getting the whole rays from that sun. So I wonder what the thickness of that ozone layer is today.
Wow.
And how thin it is as
Wow.
compared to way back then in the 70s.
Wow. Wow.
And if it's getting to the point where you're getting skin cancers now, and you're getting all kinds of things happening to your body, the inside and out, I could just imagine, when is it going to be where you just go outside and you just like light up like a match
Wow.
I mean, that's how bad it could get.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. That's for sure. Well, definitely. They even had a lot of comedies and movies about. I remember one that said that you have to have sunblock 2000 or something like that to protect it, and they were kind of joking about it, but it's becoming a reality here. As far as their protection with the sun. And in fact, John Paul Jackson, he mentioned, brother, that um, that there's going to be skin diseases because of the sun and everything.
There already is. I mean,
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
melanoma. If you look on people's skin, you see like these brown spots
yeah.
appearing. Like maybe 40 or 50 years ago, you wouldn't have seen these kind of spots, and now
That's
they're
right.
appearing on little children and adults
Yeah,
and teenagers. And it's too much sun. That's what it is.
yeah,
And if you do go out in the summer, I tell you what to do, but start wearing clothes that covers your skin. I mean, because you go out there and you get burn up, boy.
yeah. That's right.
Get these diseases,
Oh,
something to think about.
yeah, yeah. That's for
So,
sure.
brother, what do you have on the next flick there?
Okay, the next flick that here, this one here talks about. It's called "The Water Supply May Run Out by
Wow.
2030 in
So
India
those in the
studies."
red area are the areas that are affected big time, I would take it.
Yeah, this is the condition of the drought that's happening.
And where do they
Oh,
say that it will be to deplete it completely? Do they have an idea, a date?
well, they said that it's gonna run out to 2030.
Wow. Look
2030.
at those areas. I mean, if you look at the places where there was droughts and stuff,
Uh huh.
like in India and in Africa and stuff, and then look at the United States over there. It's like full of
Yeah.
red. So are
Wow.
the other countries too on the far right, but
Yeah.
the United States is like pounded. There's no water.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, just to confirm my brother what he's saying, the red part here is the real, really bad part. So, um, down here we're okay. Alaska, and the different parts up here, north here, we're still okay. But um, the dry parts are really down there. So, um, in fact, brother, that you were talking not too long ago, we were talking about, the, the John Paul Jackson and other people were talking about droughts, and we were talking about it too. You mentioned also that that water would be so expensive. I know, brother, you had that vision on that too. The water being really expensive. You've heard that too, and then we have like John Paul Jackson and other people that prophesied and said that that water is going to be really expensive.
Well, right now, and there's other states. I heard a while back, it's a couple of years back. I don't know if it's still going on. They were charged. They're going to make it a crime to save water.
Wow.
I mean, imagine you're saving your own water that comes out of your drought, your spouts, and what have you. And they want to make it put you in jail or give you a ticket because you're doing that.
Wow.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah,
But that's the way they charge you for everything else. I
that's
mean,
right.
for water, pretty soon they're going to be charging you to breathe.
Mm.
It's just it's phenomenal the things that are happening that are taking place nowadays. And it's not to be negative. It's just wow. I don't know. You told me this 40 or 50 years ago, I would tell you that ain't gonna happen. But it's just beginning to happen.
That's right.
I mean, not so much where they're charging us for water. I remember you, brother. I remember you going to a restaurant and you can order a glass of water, and you still can now, but you have to ask. They just
Yeah,
normally gave it to you.
that's
They
right.
gave you a glass of water.
That's right.
They didn't ask you for it. It was there with
Yeah.
ice in it and the whole bit. Now you have to ask them for water.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's true. And for so many people out there to drink Perrier and all this stuff, we may not even have a choice. We're just gonna have to drink what kind of water we have. We can't be so picky about stuff. And
Well, I notice a lot of people I know they're health conscious and they're out there trying to get certain filters and stuff. Hey, but when you're out there and you have nothing to drink, you're going to drink what you got to drink.
That's right.
And especially if you don't have the filters to afford to pay for that, that makes it even harder too.
That's right. That's right.
I advocate for people getting filters if they can, but if you can't, you got to do what you got to do to survive.
That's right. Full.
So, brother, what do we have up next there?
Okay, talking about droughts, but we're moving on as far as that. But also, there's food shortage too that's happening.
Mm.
Here's a little clip that my brother has from an article. I guess it was from a person named Alex Jones. Did this interview. Alex Jones of Information Wars, and he interviewed this guy named Gerard Clennet, and he talks about the riots and stuff that's going to happen. I'll just show you a little clip on that that he mentioned about that. So this is what's happening.
Any issues, so the folks on hold, you can talk to him as well. He's Gerald Salente. We're really honored to have him with us. We wrote a story at prisonplanet.com last week titled Salente Predicts Revolution, Food Riots, Tax Rebellions by 2012. He goes on international television, national television, Fox, CNN, you name it. He is one of the, if not the most accurate, because I've been following him for more than a decade, people predicting trends. They call him a trend forecaster. I would call him a futurist, but just seeing where things are going. And he makes a lot of the similar predictions we make, but I tend to just read UN think tank documents, RAND Corporation, where they say what they're going to do. He said there will be a revolution in this country, and it's not going to come yet, but it's going to come down the line, and we're going to see a third party, and that's the catalyst for it. The takeover of Washington, D.C. in broad daylight by Wall Street in a bloodless coup. And then he goes into talking about basically riots and homelessness and complete breakdown of society. And so joining us for the next hour is Gerald Salente to talk about a host of issues and get where he thinks we're going in the future. And, of course, you can also link through and go to his website, trendsresearch.com. Gerald Salente, thanks for coming on.
Hey, Alex, thank you for having me.
You bet. We got 3 minutes before we break, but just lay out in the first 3 minutes a little bit about yourself and what trend research is.
Well, current events form future trends. So we look at the major social, economic, political, geopolitical, environmental, consumer. We look at over 300 different categories on a daily basis worldwide, looking for those major trends that are shaping the future. For example, the current event today that everyone should know about is that what Citigroup announced they're firing 50,000 people. I mean, and they're not going to make those jobs up in the circuit city of Starbucks. So we look at this data and we analyze it, but we do so as political atheists. Both of these parties, we have nothing to do with them. And so we look at events for what they are and not the way we want them to be. And that's what really stops a lot of people from seeing the future. The other thing is when you look at economic forecasts, political forecasts, they do it one-dimensionally. They don't look at all the other interlocking fields.
Yes.
So that's what we do differently than most others. The system that we have, we call globalnomic. It means including the entire world, from the word globus and mind, to manage, because trends can be managed. You can see what's happening and then take the measures necessary to protect yourself or to profit from what the future may bring.
Absolutely. When we come back, I want to get into the fact that the NSA uses its snooping system, not so much to even, quote, spy on the individual, but to see major trends and try to get ahead of it, to control it, and to give that info to select inter-group corporations. The government, the big corporations, they know what you and I know, Gerald, and what you're so good at. They just don't like advertising real systems to the public.
Well, yes and no, because we work with a number of the major corporations, and that's our business. And I have to tell you, there are corporations like Ford, for example. They came to visit us in the 90s, and we thought we were talking to dead people. And we said, why waste our time working with these people when we know that what we give them is not going to be implemented? So, we assume that they know. But from our experience, Alex, most of them are well behind the curve. Examples, look at the major corporations today and how they're suffering at so many different levels.
We're going to talk about that when we get back. We're going to discuss the key, what you just said.
Well, I don't know if you got that at all. You can hear that, brother, but he talks about the trends, basically forecasts over the food riots and rebellion in the U.S. and 2012 AD, Project Foods of riots and stuff like that. Um, so that's pretty serious. I mean, we've got drought, water, and everything, and food.
Well, not only that, I've heard from different people from different walks of life, from Christians, saying they're going to get guns
Really?
to defend themselves.
Wow. Wow.
I mean, that's the point where it's getting to.
Wow.
I'm not saying this happening tomorrow, but it's taking place, people.
Wow.
This is all in the works here.
Whoa.
I know we got to be prepared in some way. You know, that's where we got to start really listening to God and not listening to ourselves and not listening to the evil one, but listening to God. And how do you do that? By becoming intimate with Him.
Wow.
You got to know if it's of the Lord or if it's of yourself. A lot of people today, they say, well, God told me this. So He told you audibly, or how did He tell you? Did you get a confirmation from it? A lot of people just go with the seat of their pants saying this and that, and they haven't got it confirmed at all. One thing the Lord has showed me, when you do ask, and make sure you get it confirmed. He'll put it in your brain, but make sure it's confirmed. And a lot of people do that today. They get themselves in trouble. And they go, I thought I heard God's voice. And then they get low because they thought they heard God's voice and they really didn't. It was their own voice because they were trying to push it themselves. And I noticed that with a lot of people today, and I've done that from time to time. And I always have to go to the Lord, you got to check me on that because I don't want to look like a fool. I don't want to look like there's egg on my face, Lord. I want it to be of you. And He shows me how you do that, Paul, is you stay intimate with me. Because He says, my sheep know my voice.
Wow.
So,
whoa.
What else we got there, bro?
Well, I'm just going back on what you said. You know, about 2 years ago, I remember working at this one place a while back, and this is when you know, the elections happened and Obama was the president, and these guys were going. He was telling me that they're gonna stock up on guns and stuff like that, and I'm going, whoa, guns and stuff. Yeah, because he was afraid that they're gonna start taking away all of our ammunition and guns and stuff. And yeah, you know, I know I've talked to people who had visions of, you know, like the borders. You know, people coming out of the borders from Mexico and looting and all this stuff. And you know, I didn't see that, but you know, when it comes down to a riot and food shortage, you have a riot. I think that's pretty serious, and you know, you might want to start preparing. You know, we've been talking about people that are getting prepared. You know, getting water and food and all this stuff. But brother, you know, I don't know if you remember this, but I mean, I was in that time where when they had that whole Rodney King riot. Remember that time? And
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, and
Right.
that was just over a situation there, but then there was a major riot that happened in LA that lasted for, I believe it was 3 days or more. But I remember working at this office and couldn't go home because of the riots and stuff, and people were, you know, like burning down buildings and stuff, and smashing in stores and stealing stuff. I mean, it was crazy. And then the cops coming down there trying to stop it, newscasts, they're advertising it, you know, and they were just doing it. And part of it was the media doing it, you know, just letting people know this is what's happening. But that's what was happening. Shooting people, were taking stuff, you know. I mean, it's crazy. It was crazy. But that was just regarding that. But if you're talking about food, you know, brother, I was talking to somebody over at the Mercy warehouse over at the church, and you know his name. and he mentioned that he worked on another food shelter place down in Australia. He used to do that. And he said even when the times were good, people would break in and try to steal some of the food, even though the food was free. You know, they just broke in there and start stealing stuff. Can you imagine on a time of like that? Even if you have a farm, can you imagine if you had a house and had a farm, people would break in there just to steal your food?
And and then we talk about these FEMA camps.
Yeah,
We have talked about it, and then we look at our government, and we look at what they're doing. I think they're prepping for this kind of
yeah.
outcome.
Oh, that could be. Because we really don't know much about the FEMA camps. I mean, I know they talk about terrorism, but they haven't really went out and told you what it was. But I think they know. I think they're preparing for something.
They're way ahead of it right now. They
Yeah,
understand what's going down. They
yeah,
can see it going down because people. If you look at the unemployment rate, they say it's good in California right now. It's dropped a lot. But what about the rest? What about the rest of the world? Not just the United States. It's like we just think of ourselves like we're the only one on this planet. We're not. There's other people from different countries too.
that's
And
right.
it's no good thing for them to go from across the sea down here to rob something to take from. They're gonna go wherever the rich is at. They're gonna take from them if you're poor. If you don't have anything to eat and you have a family that needs to eat, you're gonna do whatever it takes to get food.
Wow,
I don't mean to say that to be mean or disrespectful or anything, but that's just the survival of the fittest.
that's right. Wow,
And that's what's going to happen. That's what's going to take place.
wow,
So, these are the things that we tell you about people to prepare yourselves. It's not for you to have you think that we want you to hoard things. We just want you to get yourself something so you can feed your family, so you can take care of your family.
that's right.
In case this does happen, at least you'll have something for, I don't know how much time, that you can feed your family, but at least you'll have something to put in their mouth.
Wow.
We have something to finish up. Is this the last clip, or do we have something to finish up with it?
Yeah, yeah. My brother has this one thing, and it's a video clip from free samples of efoodsglobal.com, and they have a video that tells you how to prepare on that. But you know, but to back up what you said, brother, I mean, you know, we really don't know much about what's happening, but we can tell you that that the government's preparing for something, and we need to prepare. You were mentioning, and I checked out even the Jim Baker show. Some people are making fun of him of this dry food stuff, but then he mentioned that all his dry foods were sold out. He
That's
didn't
right.
have enough because he didn't think all these people would
Well,
do it.
the company that's applying for them says, hey, it's going to get so expensive because it costs us so much for them to get the supplies themselves and make it and package it, and it's going to soar. I
Wow.
mean, can you imagine one day paying like $30 for a loaf of bread?
No, that's crazy.
I mean, I can remember when I was paying 35 cents for it.
Wow.
And look what it is now. Is it $4 or $5 a loaf of bread?
Yeah. Oh.
It's getting to that point, people.
Wow.
That's not the scariest part. Get hot. Get yourself some water.
Oh.
Get yourself some dry food. Recycle those cans in the cupboard.
Wow.
Recycle them. Get them gone. You're going to need this stuff.
Wow. Wow.
And you could do. You don't have to do this right this minute. Just when you're out this weekend doing something, you're thinking about it. Just start putting it together for yourself.
That's right.
It only takes a few minutes to get something like that recycled in the cupboard. But then when you have the money and you see something on sale or something, grab it. Whether it be water or dry food or whatever it is, something that's going to last, preferably at least like a 10-year or 15-year shelf life, so you'll be able to use it. And you're going to need water if it's dry food. You're going to need the water to mix with it. So the water's going to be very important.
Right.
I wouldn't be surprised if water's the same value as gold.
Wow.
Anyway.
Wow. Wow. Phew.
family if the food supply was cut off? A month? A week? 3 days?
Well, I think we just need to say a
Wouldn't
prayer
you
for
feel
everybody
better
out
if
there
you
right
had
now.
the
Father, I just
necessary
ask that you
reserves?
send your
Have
spirit
you
out
ever
there to
noticed
touch
that the
everybody
more
out there that's
advanced we get, the
contemplating
less
what they
prepared
should
we are?
do, how they should go about it. And Father, I ask that you give them the wisdom and the discernment to decide how they should do it, whether it be
Yes.
little, small, or in between, so that they be able to help out their families, Lord. Lord, I mean, you say your people suffer for the lack of knowledge. And that how true that is, Lord. When we don't have the knowledge and then something happens to us, then we wonder why it happened to us.
Mm.
So, Father, I ask that you give us all knowledge out there, in whatever circumstance we're going through, whether it be food, relationships, or whatever it is that we need, Lord. Please equip us so that we don't be without knowledge, so then we don't hurt ourselves, and then we can go through doing what we have to do. In Jesus' name. And I'm praying this prayer for everybody, not just the
Yes.
Christians.
Yes.
This is for everybody out there.
Yes.
So, brother, I think we could finish up with this last thing and move on. We don't take too much of your time up there, people out there. I know you got things to do too.
Okay, here we go.
Reserves in your home right now? How long could you provide food for your family if the food supply was cut off? A month? A week? 3 days? Wouldn't you feel better if you had the necessary reserves? Have you ever noticed that the more advanced we get, the less prepared we are? Many things that defined life only 100 years ago are so convenient today that we don't really think about what would happen if that convenience were gone. Consider how we get our food. We just go down to the grocery store and grab a few things. But what if something happened that interrupted the food supply to the store? How long would it take for the shelves to be wiped out? What would you do? How long could you and your family survive? You know, for all the other important things in our lives, we have a variety of professionals, from mechanics to doctors, to help cover our bases. Why don't we also have a food professional? Food is our greatest dependency. Yet most of us find ourselves unprepared for the uncertainties that lie ahead. Why take chances? Why not do something about it? You've already taken the first step. Keep moving forward with this tour, and we can help you put a plan together and even show you how to get your food for free.
Oh. That was a video from how to prepare for 2012 economy, food shortage, and that was, you can go on their website on that. It's freesamples.efoodsglobal.com. And that's, it's just, I know it's a commercial and all this stuff, but it's true. I mean, what would happen if we can't go to the grocery store and get our stuff? And, with the drought and not having water as well, that's pretty scary. Oh.
One of the things, so you can, on a lighter side too, it may get to the point, and I've heard a lot of different people talk about this, that when we do have this, when it does happen with food shortage and stuff, and we're in a situation where we have to depend on, we can't get to get our money out of the banks and stuff, there may be a trend of their bartering. We go to bartering. So if you have a trade of some kind, like fixing a car or fixing something that you can fix with your hands, using your hands, this is going to really help out in this time of need, because they're going to need people who can use their hands to fix things. Because when the things happen, if the chips break down, the computer chips and stuff, you're not going to have any use for the new stuff. You're going to have to go back to the old style of living. So you're going to need things where you used your hands before instead of using high-tech thoughts or ways of doing things. So I believe that we're going to be going back to bartering in this future.
Wow. Wow, that's pretty heavy. But it's the truth. All this stuff we were talking about, you can find that in the Bible, in Revelations, if you read about it. And the course is already going, and the train's already started, and we can't stop it. We need to just be prepared.
You know, the only way that we could really stop it, I mean, but this, we'd have to be all in union at this. We'd all have to get on our knees, ask forgiveness of our sins, and then glorify God and thank Him for all He's done for us.
Right.
Then I could see God lifting His hand for a season, for a time, and letting His hand up, putting it back on us instead of letting it up. I mean, I can see that, but but then again, you can't change the course of what the Word says either.
Yeah.
And but I could see Him lifting His hand for a time, so people get themselves in better order. In fact, I think He's doing that right now as I'm speaking. He's putting in my spirit. I'm doing that right now. I'm letting people get together within the next few years so they can get themselves together, so they can pay off their bills, so they can start saving, so they can start getting the water they're going to need and the dry food they're going to need to save these things, so they're going to have them when the so-and-so hits the fan. And I just feel that in my spirit deeply. I don't know if you feel that, brother, but I feel that deeply in my spirit. That He's right now, He's saying, go get prepared.
Yeah. Oh.
And the church has got to come together to help out the brothers and sisters. This is not about politics. This is about human beings needing help. And we've got to look out for one another. If we don't, then we'll perish. We just need to get and help out each other right now, whether it be through food or encouragement, love, whatever it takes. A lot of times, including myself, I've done this way. I've only thought of myself. And right now, in front of everybody in the world, I ask God for forgiveness for doing that. But I know I'm not the only one out there that's done that. Where they thought of only themselves, and they should start thinking of others too.
Oh.
And I know we get caught up in whatever we do. We need to start confessing to one another. It's not good to hold everything inside you. Because when you do, then it just beats you up more, and then you don't want to talk about it anymore. We need to start sharing with one another. Hey, I'm feeling down today. Okay, can you encourage me? Can you say something good for me? I mean, we should see that in our spirit now. When we see a person down like that, give them an encouraging word. You don't know what that encouraging word might do for them. It may set them on a different course to help out millions of people, especially little children, Anyway, on that note.
Oh. So. Phew.
Yes, Lord.
Yes, Lord.
Well, brother, I think we should sign off for now.
Okay.
So we bless you. We bless you. We bless you.
Whoa.
Lord, watch over you today.